Hello, Gail and Charles. Charles, this is your brake booster that you've had so much trouble with. I hope I'm the end of the line for all your problems and issues with this brake booster. So let's go over a few things. Let's see. While I've got my VOM hooked up, I'm going to test and make sure that your brake light switch works, and then we'll just check, get a little tone. Alright, so it comes on at about 100 psi. So it's functioning. And I just want to do that first so I can turn off my VOM. Now then, let's go over a few things. I have the unique ability to check these things hydraulically before I do the final assembly and then check for vacuum. So that's why this looks funny. Because I want to check up inside here, make sure there's no leaks coming out of the rear vacuum seal. We check for leaks around here, leaks here, leaks at the brake bleed screws, and just general leakage. Now, I got a little seepage here because I didn't tighten this down enough, but we're just going to pressurize the booster right now. So we got 350 psi in, and we can check for leaks. Also, what I wanted to do was to complain and whine about the previous people who'd been in here. First big issue is with the vacuum diaphragm. This thing had seen better days. It was ready to be replaced. If you take a look at, let's see, hard to do with my. Hold the camera. Hey, come on in. How you doing?
Doing all right today?
Great. If you just drop it right there, that's perfect. Thanks. All right, you too. Take care. So if we take a look at the diaphragm, you got your heel down here. This is called the heel of the diaphragm, and then we got your lip right here, and you can see the heel and the lip are just about the same with each other. Look over here. We've got this new. We got your new vacuum diaphragm, and you can see how much the lip splays out from the heel. So that means that eventually this diaphragm was going to leak. So you got your new vacuum diaphragm. The other thing, there was an issue. This is the piston that came out of your booster. I've gotten you another piston in there. There was a production change on the piston. This type has a wide area right here, and you've got your pin that goes through that holds this to the hydraulic shaft, and then you'd have a band that goes around here, a spring steel band to hold things in place. Well, this is the size of the band that had been installed on this piston. And you can see it doesn't take up the entire space right here. And so what they done is they just put it down here. In fact, you can see the ring right here left over. That's where this band was sitting here. Well, if the band migrated, it's possible for that pin to come out and your booster to be in op. So I substituted a piston that has a narrow band and the proper size for the narrow band, because I don't have any of the wide bands. I just didn't have any, so that's why you got substituted piston with the narrow band. Now then, another thing that I didn't like is that the people that work on these things are used to working on American versions of the booster, and they had all this stuff inside here to work to seal the internals, and unfortunately it's not the way ATE had it. This is the American version of the internals, and so I converted everything over to the ATE version. Although the Bendix aircraft division invented the booster and designed it and put into production, ATE bought it under license, and then they changed it and made things the way they wanted them to be. And so I have gotten your booster back to where it looks just like ATE worked on it. Another thing that was irritating is that the people that don't understand that these are now internally metric boosters had substituted a different vacuum seal, and so I had to They machined the back end of the housing right here, and this seal goes up inside here. And they had machined the back end of the housing to accept a different seal, so I had to source that seal, and that was frustrating. Then the cup that goes on here, I was trying to pry it off and to put on a new cup, and then all of a sudden this one broke. So this seal was not the correct seal for starters, because it isn't wide enough to fill up the gap here, and then it broke anyway. So it was not a good seal. So that's and this is the rest of the stuff that came out of there. So anyway, I just want to let you know the progress I'm making, and that I believe we will be successful with your booster. So next step is to do the final assembly for the vacuum, get the air cleaner assembly on here, and do a coordinated test with a complete booster. Thank you for your patience so far.